3-day survival in a flooded cave. The three friends who set out on an expedition were unaware that they would be dragged into the middle of a nightmare that no one could have predicted. Their plan was simple. They would explore the cave for a few hours and then return home. However, nature had prepared its own plan. A sudden, heavy rain flooded the entrance of the cave. The friends were trapped inside. Neither the phones worked, nor could they communicate with the outside world. Panic was growing, but panicking meant using up the last remaining oxygen inside. They made a quick decision and climbed a high rock ledge. As the hours passed, the water level rose, and the air in the cave grew heavier. The first night spent in despair was their greatest test. The second day began the struggle with hunger and thirst. However, the most dangerous thing was the cold inside the cave. Their body temperatures were dropping rapidly. On the morning of the third day, the rescue teams who went out to search for them managed to reach the entrance of the cave. But the water inside made the rescue operation even more difficult. The three friends inside started shouting with all their might when they heard the sound of water. This was the moment they made their voices heard. After hours of hard work, the rescue team reached the cave and pulled the three people out safely. These three friends, who fought in the dark, cold, and hopelessness for 3 days, proved to the world what it means to survive. Sometimes survival is not only possible with strength, but also with hope. 2. Stuck in a narrow cave. Rescue operation races the clock. John Edward Jones had been interested in caving throughout his life. However, the expedition he embarked on November 24, 2009 would not be fun for him, but a fearful struggle for survival. John entered the Nutty Putty Cave in Utah with his family. While crawling through the narrow passages, he took a wrong turn and entered an extremely narrow tunnel. When he made a move to turn back, his body suddenly became stuck in the rock. At first, he thought it was a minor squeeze, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not move. His feet were up, his head was down, and blood was starting to pool in his upper body. Outside, his family realized that John had not returned for a long time and immediately called for help. When the rescue teams arrived at the scene, they tried for hours to get him out of where he was. However, the narrow tunnel made it difficult for them to even move. John was getting weaker as the hours passed. Since he was in an inverted position, his organs had begun to fail. Rescuers tried to pull him out with ropes, but the rocks shifted and the entrapment got worse. He fought death's door for 27 hours, but in the end, he couldn't be freed. Authorities closed off that section of the cave, making it John's grave. Nutty Putty Cave has been closed to the public since then. Today, John's story is a reminder to the world of how dangerous caving can be. Not every expedition guarantees a return, and sometimes our biggest mistake is choosing the wrong path.